Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a kind of an important matter, or maybe unimportant matter for some people, but for some people it's important. Should I buy cheaper fragrance or pricey fragrance? I have to tell you first, unfortunately, I cannot read your comments while I'm streaming. So it's not I don't want to answer you, but I cannot read them. So I'm sorry for that. But you can always drop me a message, or you can always drop me a comment on the comment section, and I will reply you very fast. Promise. So the topic of today is should you buy cheaper fragrance or a pricey fragrance? Question mark. Well, in my very humble opinion, the new trend is that if you don't pay at least $300, you can't get a good fragrance. Unfortunately, this is now the new trend. You have to pay $300 at least to get a good fragrance. And this is how the brands are handling this business. You want an example? The latest flanker of Bleu de Chanel, all because it's called Bleu de Chanel exclusive, they ask you to pay 300 price. So you have to pay $300. Otherwise, you cannot get the new flanker of Bleu de Chanel. That's nonsense. I'm sorry to say that's nonsense. That's rubbish. It's a kind of way to crook us, because doesn't mean that the fragrance is very expensive, that smells great. No, I'm sorry to say, it all depends how you tackle the situation. You can find a very affordable fragrance for less than $50 and does smell great. You want to give you examples? Aramis Original still smell great, and you can find it for $35 to $40. The list goes on, I don't want to name them all, but you can find very affordable fragrances for less than $50. And you can even find great brands for less than $50. For example, Versace, you can find brands, Italian brands, or French brands. You can find Gila Roche, for example. You can get very, very affordable prices for Dracar Original or Dracar Intense, or even the latest Dracar Blue, which is now around $30. And they all smell great. Of course, some people say, no, the quality is not there. I want a niche quality. I'm going to give you another example. Encre Noire by Lalique. For $40, really smells amazing. Encre Noire or Encre Noire Extreme, or all the fragrances from the house of Lalique, they are very affordable and very great smelling. So I don't believe you have to pay $300 to smell great. But some people want to snob others, so they want to say, oh, I'm wearing that. That's why I have that on my shelf. But listen, okay, you buy a fragrance, for example, let's say Bleu de Chanel, or you buy a fragrance, for example, the fragrance, for example, Creed Aventus Absolute. 3 months later, there is a clone of both. And the clones smell 90% the same. You can have it for less than $50, almost the same fragrance. So don't you think it's a little bit crazy to spend $300 or $400 on a fragrance bottle for men or even for women? I think it's crazy. I'm sorry. I think really it's even nonsense. This trend, it's a very new trend actually, because suddenly fragrances prices, they soared up, and they became rocketed, and now really fragrances are at a retail price. You cannot find less than $200, $150 and above, which is nonsense. I'm sorry, even a Christian Dior fragrance should not be price tag $300. Because after all, it's just a fragrance. And, we all know that there is not 100% natural materials, and most of them are chemical materials. And maybe a bottle will cost for Christian Dior $30 and they want to sell it for $300. It's the same for Chanel, it's the same for all the brands. They cannot use 100% natural ingredients. So they use also, let's say 20% maybe natural or 10% natural, and the rest is chemical. Everybody in this business know that. So why people are following this new trend to buy very expensive fragrances? Because they are all newcomers, they are all beginners. They think that if they buy $300 or $400 a fragrance, this is a proof that they are going to get the quality, the highest quality, which is not true. You can have a very great fragrance for less than $100. You can have a fantastic fragrance, especially if you go to discounters or you go to gray markets, or there are many sites on the internet that they say. I'm not here to promote any site. I will never promote any site. This is not my kind of business. But I'm not going to name them. But you know that there are discounters and you can have 60% off on a retail price tag. So what's really important is you smell great. And what is really important is you get satisfied by your own fragrance. Price means nothing. I met guys that they wear always very expensive fragrances and all of them are repulsive. All is the matter of taste. Do you have a good taste or you have a bad taste? That's it. So if you have a good taste, even with $30, $40, $50, you can smell great. You can always switch on the classics and you can smell great. You don't need to spend $600 or $500 to smell great. This is a kind of fantasy. This is kind of wrong thinking. But of course, there are cases. For example, sometimes you want to buy a very rare, a very vintage fragrance that you cannot find it for less than $500, and you really want to have it in your collection. You really have to pull the trigger because you don't have the chance to find it for less than that. So this is a price to pay if you want to have a very rare, very extreme rare fragrance. For example, I bought a bottle of Derby a couple of years ago and I had to spend $450 for it. And I'm very happy because right now it's something above $800 or even $1,000. I don't regret it because it's something very rare, something very unreachable, and I wanted to have it in my collection just for my own pleasure because I'm a kind of fragrance collector, vintage fragrance collector. But I'm never going to spend $300 or $400 for a Bleu de Chanel exclusive. Why? Because this is nonsense. First of all, it's not a great fragrance. It's an average fragrance. And they just want to cook you up. They just want to cook you, and that's why they price it $300. Or, even the Bleu de Chanel parfum still smells fantastic and you paid not more than $130. So why you have to pay $300 for another flanker of Bleu de Chanel just because they name it exclusive? Come on, give us a break. So I sometimes wear a very cheapy cologne. For example, I wear Old Spice and I really feel good because I love that smell, It's only $10. But I smell great, and I even get the compliments. It's a compliment getter. It's still Old Spice. It's a compliment getter, or Tobacco Original. They cost less than $20, but I smell great because I feel good, and I feel that I smell great, and that's enough for me. I don't need to wear something $500 to smell great. But for a special occasion, for a special event like wedding anniversary or a special birthday or stuff like that, I always pull the trigger. I wear very rare fragrances that I don't wear every day, like Derby, like, for example, Patou pour Homme, like Balafre by Lancôme. Those fragrances are always selected for special occasions because I know they are rare. And I know pretty hard that I will not find them anymore. And even if they reissue that fragrance, will not be the same as the vintage version. So guys, you have to be very careful. Don't get fooled by branding. Don't get fooled by hype. Don't get fooled by words of other beginners that they pretend that if you don't pay less than $300, you will not going to smell great. Sorry, that's wrong. You can smell great even for $10. For $10, you can smell great. You want an example? Nautica Voyage. Fantastic fragrance. Costs $12. And you smell great. It's even a compliment getter. You even might get more compliment with Nautica Voyage than with Bleu de Chanel Exclusive. So guys, you have to clear up your mind. This is just a very friendly advice from a guy that possesses more than 8 or even 900 fragrances. And I'm spending my life to collect fragrances, so I know what the hell I'm talking. Don't get fooled by branding. Don't get fooled by hype. Don't get fooled by novelties. Those are only here to crook you. Those are only here to get more money from you. Cash grabs for brands. Just a cash grab, my friends. And are you a fool? Are you a jackpot machine? Okay, it's up to you guys. Anyway, it's your money. You are not spending my money. I just share my opinion that I'm not going to get fooled by branding. I'm not going to spend $300 just to smell great. And don't even think that by spending $300 you get more compliments, you get more success. No, I'm sorry. Some fragrances are very expensive and they are repulsive. And even people might despise you because they don't appreciate that fragrance, you know. They are very strong or, you know, some not very sociable. So you have to be very careful. You have to make up your mind. Don't follow the hype. You have to find your own fragrances and you have to find your own signature scent. Then you are a connoisseur. Otherwise, you are a beginner. And a beginner, I'm sorry to say, get fooled oftenly by brands, by hype, by friends talk, by very tricky social media, and you know, by even a tricky specialist of fragrances that they are not a specialist at all. They pretend to be a specialist, but in the way they are just paid by brands to promote new fragrances. They are not honest with you. They are not unbiased. And I'm sorry, this is a problem of today's, that people get very, very influenced by influencers. So, I'm sorry. Don't think that a fragrance becomes a smashing hit because it's just a fabulous fragrance. No, because lots of so-called influencers, so-called fragrance specialists, they promote, they push hard, they promote, they push hard. And their aim by the end is to make that fragrance a bestseller. Because behind the scene, brands are dealing with them behind the curtain. And you don't know that. But don't think that those guys are honest. Honest reviewers are very few nowadays, unfortunately. But some are very honest. I can, for example, Sebastian, the fragrance guy, I respect him a lot. This guy, he buy his fragrances. This guy, he don't accept to be bribed. And this guy always say the truth. And his reviews are very, very fair and honest. And even he warned people that Bleu de Chanel Exclusive is not worthy for $300. So you have to find the right reviewers. Then you have to also make up your own mind. Test lots of fragrances. Don't pull the trigger blindly. Go to big department stores such as Macy's, Neiman Market, or whatever you are next to you, and test fragrances and make up your mind, and then don't buy it. Go back home and you try to find on discounters, because it's crazy. You can sometimes have a fragrance that it's for $120 at Macy's, and you can find it on discounters for $45, $50. So why you have to waste your money, you know? So you have sometimes to be very thrifty. But if you have unlimited budget, then do whatever you want to do. Please yourself, okay? This is your money, you know. And you are not spending my money. You are spending your own money. I just wanted to tell you my way of thinking and my way of doing. But the rest belong to you guys. So this is it. I wanted to talk about this topic for a long time, and today I found the time to talk about it. Have a great day. Stay fragrant. Don't follow the hype, because the hype might fool you. And wear what you want to wear only. Until we talk again, God bless you. And cheerio. Bye-bye.